Hi, everyone. I'm back, and I think it was my internet boo-booed, um, but hopefully you can make it back in. I do apologize. It does buffer, I know sometimes, and sometimes it's YouTube. It's not always our internet. Welcome back, Jenny. Sorry about that. I just lost my connection there. It was on my end, I think. I'm not sure. I just restarted it, and it seems to be working. Is it still buffering really bad? Let me know. Okay, good. I wasn't sure. Sometimes it's YouTube, I think. Sometimes it just does weird things. So hopefully folks come back. But oh, wonderful. I think it just hiccuped. Hang on one second here. Well, I was going to show you something, but I've moved it. Oh, here it is. Okay. This weird looking stuff here. I don't want to tilt it too much because it might pour out, but this is, gosh, that smells wonderful. This I made uh, from actually my some local bamboo that I have. I made a bamboo oil, and it smells wonderful. It's actually bamboo that grows right behind my house a little ways, um, and I was just impressed with how great it came out. I love that I could just sniff it all the time. Bamboo does have a smell. It does have a scent. Anyway, yeah, so I'm thinking about some new things to do. If you guys ever have any ideas, hey, Lone Star, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, it really is, Jenny. I love being able to find stuff like that. To just go out and just find things to be able to work with. It's just a lot of fun. I mean, you can buy products, and there are a lot of very good, reputable companies out there selling really good products. Well, I appreciate that. Based on your name, Lone Star, can I assume you're in Texas as well? Hi, Nicole. Is this Nicole? Or I'm not sure what your husband's name is. I know it, and it slipped out of my mind. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Creative. I was hoping, or in your, I'm gonna have to learn your name because that's a lot to say. Only in your mind, Creative. So, okay, Nicole, good. It's good to see you. We're just doing a short morning coffee, some chit chat. Oh, I love Corpus. That's one of my favorite places to go. I inherited a house down at Aransas Pass a long time ago, and used to go down there. I haven't been down there in a long time, longer than I wish to say. I was a young man at the time, but I used to love to go down there. Wayne, I knew that, I just couldn't think of it. Jenny, I know several people in Utah. I've got employees in Ogden, Provo, um, and Salt Lake. So I hear a lot about Utah. Natasha, good name. Now, I may not remember that. what I would suggest, and I would suggest this to any of you, to change your, you don't have to do this. And I should do it myself. Here I am telling you to do something I haven't done. But don't do as I do as I say. In your name, like Renee has done over at Soaps for Love. It's Renee, got her name, and then it says Soaps for Love on her channel. I think that's really kind of nice. You don't have to put your last name. Matter of fact, I don't think I would suggest everybody put their last name. But you can certainly put a name on your channel, and I think it personalizes it more. Um, People have learned my name because I mention it, and well, anyway, I think it's a good idea. I haven't even done it myself. I'm telling you to do it, and I haven't done it, but it's something I've been meaning to do, and I just keep forgetting to do. Cool, Jenny. That's awesome. And by the way, Natasha, that's one of my top 3 favorite names. I love the name Natasha. And it has nothing to do with Bullwinkle either. I just like the name Natasha, always have. There's another name that I was trying to remember. It's not coming to me. When you get gray in the, yeah, the memory starts going, or mine did anyway. Oh, Rebecca, yours is great. I actually like that. No, that works. That works. No, that's fine. Just having it in there, I think, is great. I don't know if you want to put your last name. That's fine. There's some kind of Looney Tunes out there. I'm just saying, and this is probably advice that I'd share with any of you, and that's in regard to what we share online. For instance, Rebecca, I'll use you just as an example. Remember, I work in the industry and I work with HR a lot, so I'm aware of a lot of things that maybe some of you aren't aware of. But like people go on Facebook, and for instance, Rebecca, let's say Rebecca had a Facebook page and she puts her name on her Facebook page. And then she says, but when I was in high school back in whatever, 85, my name was Rebecca Smith. Okay. Well, she's just told everyone what her maiden name is. She's told them pretty much the year she was born because they can extrapolate that. Or even on Facebook, it tells you a lot of times when someone's birthday is. That's really the base information that people need to steal your identity. If they have your full name and your mother's maiden name, because how many times have you filled out credit information or even used as a secret password on something where it says what's your mother's maiden name, that kind of thing? Just be careful. And I'm not suggesting that you've done anything wrong or that you're in any trouble, and I'm not a fear monger by any stretch, but it's just these are things that maybe not everyone's aware of, and I just want you to be aware to be careful what you share. Not everybody's as nice a person as we all are here. That's all. I just wanted to throw that out there. I can see fine, but the small print on the screen, I have to put on glasses. I could make it big, but if I make it big, then I can't see other stuff on my screen. Yeah, it's just a thought, Rebecca, because they don't need to know your last name. If they ever order from you, see, and this is sort of the issue too. That if they order from you on Etsy or if you sell online, people are going to learn your name anyway. Um, so there's really no way around it. If you're doing business online, people are going to know who you are. As soon as they get your package, they have your address. I'm just saying, be careful. You know, there are trolls out there, or so I hear, these bad people that harass people. I don't really get that. I guess it's like I was telling um, Renee yesterday, we were talking on the phone, and I was telling her that I think these trolls are kind of like teenage boys. When I was a kid, people would put dog poop on people's front steps so that when they came out their front door, they'd step in dog poop. To me, that's what these internet trolls are. They're just going on people's channel and dropping dog poop. And if you think about it that way, they're not so scary. They're just goofy. I can deal with goofy. My favorite, hold on a moment here. I understand. I fully understand. And that's one of those things, Natasha, that all of us need to be careful of. Um, it really depends on what you share. We all have names, and we would give our name to pretty much any stranger we shook hands with, right? I'm Patrick Gage. Nice to meet you. That's not uncommon. I do it all the time. And so people are going to know my name. But I don't always share things like my mother's maiden name, right? What's the point? Or sure, to me, that'd be the same as giving someone the last four of my social. I don't even like doing that on the phone, even though it's useless information. The last four of your social isn't much use to anyone unless you've used that as ID for something else. And a lot of people do that. They'll make their password sometimes the last four digits of their social. I've known people to do that sort of thing. Not a wise thing to do. So obviously, this isn't soaping going on. But what I would like to do is on a future video, maybe the next time, is actually do something live. I could make a soap, but you're not going to see the reveal of it in the same video, obviously, because it's got to cure overnight before it's cut, right? So making a soap, not such a thing, but I could like make some lotions or creams or salves. As I was telling some others there, this is some uh, oil that I just made from bamboo on my property. Didn't get very much because I didn't use very much. Um, but I've thought about making a bamboo. I love the smell of bamboo. I don't know if you've ever smelled fresh bamboo that's been made into a salve or into an oil. I love the smell, it's intoxicating. Anyway, so making salves or lotions, those sort of things, those are easy for me to do live. That's really cool. And Nicole, I think that's a great idea that people might really enjoy. I think people would enjoy that. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. And I just decided to go out and harvest some of the young shoots and make a really nice infusion. And I'm loving it. And I'm going to make a soap with it. But I'm going to make some salves and things like that as well. That's one of the things I really do enjoy is harvesting local things. Right now, though, this summer has been so hot that harvesting has been slim pickings. A lot of things that normally are available now just aren't available. Really rough on the growth of all plants around here. So, and if each of you would check out each other, those of you that have soaping channels at least, try to check out each other if you get a chance, because you're all tremendous people. I've been to every one of your channels that have channels and love what you're doing. And this isn't a competition. There is room enough for all of us, right? There really is. Because we all are a little bit different. We all do our own thing. Well, thank you, Rebecca. That's very kind of you. But we all learn. That's sort of where I was going with that. Is I learn from all of you too. I learn all sorts of things. I love watching Sin City. I really do. They use micas and they use fragrance oils. I'm not opposed to those things. I'm not. And this is something I've never really clarified, maybe to the right degree. And this is as good a time as any. I love mica. I love fragrance oils. I love the smells. There are fragrance oils I think that are far superior to a lot of essential oils. You see how white I am? The reason for that is when I'm out in the sun, I have to cover up. Even in Texas, this is why I get so hot. I have to cover up. I burn, I break out easy. I get these little blisters. I don't know if you can see those. Those are from sunlight. I'm sensitive to fragrances. I'm sensitive to, when I was a kid, my mother couldn't wash with regular laundry detergent like Tide or Cheer or, those sort of things. She had to make, they had something called Dreft, which was for kids or for babies. And she used to have to do all of our laundry in that. then she would have to rinse it again because I would just break out on the sheets, and I'm still like that today. So it's not a matter of not liking fragrance oils and not liking micas. I'm just too sensitive for them. And I know that sounds weird coming from me, but that's really it. Most fragrance oils. Now, Renee from Soaps for Love sent me some soaps to review. And one of the soaps she sent me, I decided to try it. It was scented with a fragrance oil. And I just thought, I haven't tried one in a long time. And I didn't have any real trouble with it. I'm not going to say I had no trouble with it. I didn't think I did at first, and then later I did have some itching, but I can deal with that. But I didn't break out the way I have in the past from fragrance oils, and it didn't have phthalates in it, which is the reason why. So many products have other things in them, and I don't think we're all aware of these things. Sort of like the body wash that I did. The main reason that I did that was because I can't use store-bought body washes. They have several different ingredients in them that just don't agree with me. And there are only 2 preservatives that I can use. And this is one of them. Let's see if I can hold it up to the camera, if you can see it or not. It's Phenonip. And this is from Brambleberry. And it does have parabens. And you hear all this fear mongering about parabens being this horrible thing. Well, something I was talking to someone about yesterday. Keep in mind that before preservatives, the only way to preserve food was with salt. And we know that eating a lot of salt isn't good for us either. And also, a lot of the tests that have been done on preservatives have been on animals or insects, either fruit flies or rats or mice. There's been none, no cases of a human being getting cancer from preservatives. There's no evidence to that. But there's a lot of fear out there of these things. But it's understandable because we tend to, especially in our social media world that we live in, we hear these things, GMO, oh, run for your life, GMOs. Or, it's sort of like, oh, only organic. Well, there are a lot of organic things that are deadly to us. There are poisons that are completely organic, but they're poison. Mercury is a natural organic matter, but it's deadly to us. We can't eat it. We can't even touch it or play with it in our hands because we'll absorb it, which I didn't know as a kid. But, there are a lot of things that are natural that aren't necessarily good for us, and there are some artificial things that are okay for us that won't kill us. We can't live without them. Our lives are surrounded by them. This shelf didn't grow organically. These bottles didn't. These mini blinds, this table, this computer, none of these things are organic or natural. They're all artificial. And sometimes you have to learn to live with that. And so I've had to learn to live with that too. Anyway, that was really the main thing that I just wanted to touch on, just to let you know that while I am very careful with my own skin, I love watching other people like Nicole over at Sin City. I love watching people make beautiful soaps, doing things that I really can't do with natural products. I do other things, right? But these are things, I don't make anything that I can't use on my own skin. So hopefully, if you ever buy anything of mine or don't, if you win in a contest or I send you a frog or whatever, you can rest assured knowing that it's safe, because I'm not going to send anything out that isn't safe for me. That's all. And I won't touch on that anymore because then I start getting a little preachy. Well, yes, line, I'm live. All right. It's good to see you. It's nice seeing all of you here. It's really good to have you here. Now, your name isn't pronounced Line. Is it Leanne? Because you told me before, but because we've never talked, what's the correct pronunciation? I know it's not Line. It's just let me know. Oh yeah, team of I didn't ask you these things, but yeah, if you could give me a thumbs up, it helps. Thank you. Lynn, thank you, Lynn. I thought so. I remembered you told me, and I remembered it didn't look the same as it sounded. Lynn, I remember that. It's really good to have you all here. I really appreciate it. There's, and oh, it isn't. It's French. Fantastic. We have people from all over. We have Canadians. We have uh, people from England, and now we have France. Well, I don't know if you're in France. You may be in. You may be French Canadian. I don't know. Or maybe you're none of those and you just have a French name. You haven't told us that. They're okay, French Canadian, fantastic. I show 9 right now. Yeah, it's weird the way that it reports. That's YouTube. Go figure. Hi, Jill. Jill, I just sent your package out too. You should have it in a few days. And you'll find some goodies in there too. I always send a couple of extra little things, so I hope you enjoy them. And folks, if you would, do give me a thumbs up. What that does, and I'm not real sure, that's why I don't ask you for this stuff. I'm not big on going, give me a thumbs up, give me a notification or whatever. If you do those things, you'll do it because you want to. I don't like begging for things, and it's silly. But it's my understanding that it is a good thing. Okay, folks, I think what someone just put on the screen is spam. Um, I don't know if you see that or not. I hit it. I don't know if that does anything or not. Okay, that was weird. Oh, I'm glad you liked them. You know, and I want to tell you, Nicole, those are real Dead Sea salts because they were sent to me from Israel. I get those sent over to me from someone, just like I get borax from California, from someone who goes out into the borax fields and digs it up. Not kidding. Lynn, I'm not sure what that means. Oh, is that right? See, I didn't know that. Well, thank you, Nicole. But I don't know. I don't mind being a small channel. Um, I don't know. I'm not about. I'm just now getting used to being in front of a camera. I have shied away from cameras my whole life. I really have. I grew up thinking that I didn't have a very good opinion of myself as a kid, um, for a lot of reasons, and I won't go into that on a live broadcast. But as such, I have shied away from cameras my whole life. When someone would take a picture, I'm the person who just does this. And I'm not, that's what I do. There's only one picture of me as a child smiling in a picture that I have. And it's when I was about a year old when they first adopted me, and the photographer was making goofy faces at me to make me laugh or something or make me smile. But other than that, I just didn't smile much. Anyway, my point is this has been a real step forward for me to go in front of a camera. But to me, who wants to just look at me talk? Um, you want to see me do something. And so that's sort of what I wanted to discuss and find out what I should be doing. So maybe I will make a soap, try that, and then you can come back the next day and see it cut. That might be fun. Maybe do some lotion, some salve, some different things. Um, I like that idea. I know. Yeah, and I've seen this on other channels. It's not just mine. I've watched other live streams, and there's the delay between the time somebody says something and the time it shows up on the screen. Sorry about that. It's the nature of this live stuff. And I have a decent connection, actually. I don't have a poor internet connection. It's not super, super fast, but it's pretty decent. I mean, I use it for my job, and my job requires a lot of bandwidth. That is something I can do. I have access to to do something. I could do something like that. The only issue that I have with that sort of thing is most of us on these channels are soapers. And we already know a lot of the answers, or we think we do anyway. And then there are the few people out there who actually want to learn. And I think it's finding right, I like that. Oh, I see what you mean. Lynn, I like that idea. That's kind of fun. Like just do a live sort of interview where we're talking and we can answer questions. And yeah, I like that. That could be kind of fun, actually. Maybe Nicole, maybe we could try that sometime. That might be fun. That's true. That's very true, Lynn. We do. Each of us do. You know what's funny is I notice so many soapers, for instance, pour their lye uh, down their stick blender stick, right? Because someone somewhere along the way said it prevents bubbles in your soap, right? Do you know I've never done that? I don't have bubbles in my soap. Oh, I'm not saying I've never had soap with bubbles. Of course I have. I've had soaps that I've made too thick, and so there were air pockets and things like that. But I've rarely had, a lot of air bubbles in soap. I'm not saying it's never happened, but it just doesn't happen that often. And but there are a lot of things like that we all do differently, right? There are people. I freeze my goat milk, my fresh goat milk. I freeze. There are people who don't do that. They will use water they'll use half of their liquid as water, mix that with the lye, mix up their soap, and then add the goat milk in. Well, to me, that's not really goat milk soap. It's soap with goat milk in it. Because I want my soap to be 100% goat milk, I do the frozen method, and I find that very successful. It stays creamy and it stays white, and it works very well for me. That doesn't mean the way they do it is wrong. It's just different. And we're all a little different. There are people who prefer micas. There are people who prefer clays. There are people who prefer fragrance oils, and people who prefer essential oils, and people who prefer organic, and people who don't care. There are a lot of those too. They don't really care. Just give me the soap, you know. I agree. I agree with you totally, Nicole. But you see so many videos out there, people going, pour it down your stick so you don't get air bubbles. But it's the same with using alcohol and soda ash. I rarely use alcohol. I'll use alcohol sometimes if I do a lot of little fine work on top, and I'll just do it because, it's in my head. You should use. But I rarely use alcohol, and I rarely have seen soda ash. Now, I also do water. I do a reduction of water in my lye. I generally do about a 30% reduction. And so there's not as much water and there's not as much chance of getting soda ash. But there are people who get soda ash quite often. So I can understand them doing it. So that kind of goes along the lines of what I'm referring to, is that we all have our own ways of doing things, and they're not right or wrong. There can be more than one right. I don't have to be right or for you to be right. I don't have to be wrong for you to be right. You don't have to be wrong for me to be right. We all have our own ways of doing things. Absolutely. I used to push people in a wagon. I used to have a little friend. She'd hold the handle on the wagon. She'd sit in the wagon, and I'd push her in the wagon. When I got in the wagon, she'd pull the handle and pull me. Both of them were fun. We were both getting a ride in a wagon and having a ball. They were just different ways of doing it. That's perhaps a silly analogy, but it just means we can all be right. Now, it doesn't mean that all truths are the same, but it does mean that there are various ways of doing things and getting the same goal. I got you. Right. Exactly. Right. Yes, on my, I did do it wasn't activated charcoal soap, but I did a all blue soap. Somebody wanted a really dark navy blue. And I used indigo, and I used, don't remember right off madder root. I mixed some madder root in it to add a bit of a different tinge, and it worked great. But I got soda ash. That was the first time, I think, in a couple of years that I'd seen soda ash. Do you know I have not started Christmas soaps yet? I'm working on my first Halloween soap, and it's a real hard one. It's a multi-step one. I've been doing it in steps, and it will be my very first one. Bye to anyone leaving. Thank you so much. It was fun. And team, I know this is running long, and you don't have to stay. And actually, I should probably get busy too. I've got things I need to do. This I'm off from my job, by the way. If I did tell you, my days off are Sunday and Monday. I work um, every week. I work Tuesday through Saturday. Those are my work days, and I generally work about 10 to 12 hours on my job. Then I've got my farm to take care of, and I do my soaping and my so it's kind of a constant sort of thing. I'm not really stopped at any point, but I can tell you that the most fun thing is this, the soaping stuff. If I could do this only, I would do this only. Yeah, I guess because I'm not, you have a market. Nicole, I know you folks sell already, and I just really what I do on Etsy, and this is for anybody here listening, that money just helps me to keep doing this. When I make somebody buy something and I make 20 bucks from Etsy, I use that to go buy more shea butter or more coconut oil or more this or that. That's really what I do with it. I don't make a living off soaping. And some of you I know do. Where am I located? I am up in the upper right hand corner in Northeast Texas. Uh, I am about 75 miles east of Dallas, and I am about 70 miles west of Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. So if you look on a map near the corner of all those, you'll find me. And I'm in a town that's not even on most maps, but the next town that I'm near that you might find on a map in Texas is Sulphur Springs. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, Lone Star, but it's just a little town. It's called that because of all the natural springs here. There are my own property. I have live sulfur springs here. I can go out and actually get water and dry it and have sulfur. But there are other kind of mineral springs as well. It's not just the sulfur. I understand fully, Nicole. That yeah, I get it. Right. If it were my job, I would be doing exactly the same thing. Oh, how cool! Yeah, there's a it's a little dairy town. It's a small town of 14. It's not 14. Well, the county is 14,000. The city itself, I don't know how many are actually in it, but it's real small here. And where I live, in the community I live in, there are about 500 people, and we're scattered. I mean, we have properties. The property behind me is 700 acres, so you don't really see your neighbor. The property on this side is 400 acres. So, yeah, they're neighbors, but only in the loosest sense of. Oh, Lynn, that's fantastic. That's really cool. Do you film those? Because I know the lady over at Aroma. So I know Aroma's the first word. I'm not sure what the rest of her channel name is, but I know it's Aroma. But she does shows. She goes to different markets and things, and she films them. It's really cool. Oh, I got you. They had something here like that, and that's where I sold a great deal. But then they canceled them because of the weather, so I made a bunch of soap and just had to grind it up and use it. I hear you. Well, I will tell you, Lone Star, I like it most of the time. But there are times when I miss the big city. I really do. I love going into Dallas and going to shows and eating in restaurants. There are no restaurants here. I mean, I travel even in that town of Sulphur Springs. You get there, they're like 4 or 5 restaurants, and once you've eaten at them, you've eaten at them. There's just and none of them are all that good. So I like going into the city. Just don't get the opportunity very often, but I love going into Dallas. But it's about an hour and a half drive, but I do enjoy it. There are times I wish I just lived in an apartment somewhere and didn't have any land and didn't have any lawn. That passes quickly, kind of like gas. I get that feeling for a moment, then it's gone. Lynn, I understand that. Believe me, I understand it. I am too. And if I could see myself right now, I probably wouldn't be doing this. Um, I agree with you. I really do. I understand that. I am camera shy too. I get it. Um, but I can say this too. You don't always have to be in front of the camera. You can point it somewhere else. You know what I mean, Lynn? You could film the market, you could film, your soaps, you don't have to put yourself in the camera. If you don't mind putting your voice in the camera. I love a French Canadian accent. So I'm serious. So I mean, there is a market for that. Most of my videos, I'm not in them. I don't want to scare people. Um, but I do on occasion do this and go on camera. Oh, I've been there before, Nicole. That is a really small and that's a beautiful area. But I love Colorado. How did you? I was going to ask you how you end up in Vegas. My brother, who's passed away now, but he and his family um, lived in Quartz Hill, California, and they would drive from there to Vegas about every weekend. They love Vegas, going to Vegas. I've enjoyed it a few times, but I'm not really into the gambling thing. Well, it's not that I'm not into it. Um, I can't afford it. It's just I would lose everything. That's a good idea, Lynn. That's a really good idea. I think that if you live there, Nicole, that's probably a really good idea. It'd be easy to lose everything, right? My father was a gambler, a compulsive gambler. He played craps, and this is not a joke. He used to take me with him, drunk driving and all. He would take me with him to Vegas. We lived in Northern California, near San Francisco. And we would drive to either Reno or Lake Tahoe or Vegas on occasion. And he would take me with him. But he only didn't take me with him because he liked me. He took me with him because I was a distraction. And when he was gambling, apparently a distraction was important. But I saw my dad lose, he lost the title to a car. We had to take a bus home once. That was to Reno. We drove to Reno and took a bus home. He lost title to a house before. So I have sort of a sour taste in my mouth when it comes to gambling. Oh, I've played slot machines before, and that sort of thing, but I'm not a big gambler. Oh, that's wonderful, Nicole. I love that. That's tremendous. So many folks, well, I won't go into that because I don't want to offend anyone, but that's wonderful that you took care of that you did that. That's really tremendous. I believe in caring for our families when we can. I even took care of my old awful dad who hated me. Hate is not too strong a word. He despised me. But I took care of him in his final days. I took care of my mother in her final days. That's just what we do, right? I hear you, Lynn. Me too. Me too. Oh my goodness. I've never had a quarter of a million, so I couldn't lose it, but that's a lot. Oh wow. Oh, how sad. You win the lottery and then gamble it away. But I guess if it's money that you didn't earn, it's easy to do that. With free money, it's just that. That's one expression. I learned a couple things from my old man. Okay, one of them was free is worth just that, nothing. And the other expression was poor people can't afford cheap things. And it took me growing up to realize what that meant. What does it mean, poor people can't afford cheap things? Well, if you're poor and you can only afford a $20 particle board dresser and you have to replace it every few years, wouldn't it be better to hang on to $20 a month for several months until you can get $100 and then buy a good dresser that will last you for the rest of your life? That's a weird analogy, and I know the numbers are wrong, but that's basically what it means. Poor people can't afford cheap things because cheap things wear out and have to be replaced a lot. I understand, Lynn, and that is hard to watch. People, and there are a lot of people that have all kinds of addictions, right? And have trouble with those. Um, Team, if you don't mind, if you could give a thumbs up, that's the only thing I'll ask for. If you can do that, I'm not asking you to subscribe or do those other things. If you want to do them, you'll do them. But apparently, the thumbs up is a good thing. If you can give me a thumbs up, you don't have to, but it's appreciated if you do. Um, so, one of the things that I'll be doing, I think I'll set this up probably for Wednesday, maybe Thursday. Those are work days for me. So it's hard to do the farm and do my job and do this too at the same time. I mean, to do a live thing, but I will try to set up some kind of a live event. Um, and I think the first time I'm going to do soap, I may do something like one of my creams or a lotion or a salve, because I'd really like to use this bamboo oil a lot. This took a lot of time for me to make, and I'm really looking forward to using it. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah. So I would like to do some kind of a live thing and show you all, brother, so you're not just looking at a talking head here. Um, and I love the camaraderie, watching you all post and talk to each other, and that's a marvelous thing. And for those of you that have channels, or for those people when you see that they have a soap by their name, check out their channels too. These are some marvelous. Nicole's got a tremendous channel that I just love. I don't see. See, I can't scroll, or I don't know how to scroll with this thing. I'm worried about it now, but I think there were a couple other people here that had channels as well. So just take a look at them, sub to their channels if you like them. I'll never ask you to sub to a channel you don't like. I don't. I look at a lot of channels. I try to. Um, I don't like when people come to the channel and they go, "Hi, sub to my channel," or "sub for sub," or why would I do that? I mean, I like finding channels on my own. Or if someone tells me, if you tell me, "Hey, Patrick, you ought to check out so and so site," I'll trust you and I'll go look at their site. Only in your mind, there's one of her other soapers. So check out her channel. But probably the most important thing is that we're communing, and I like this. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, isn't it? I mean, what's the point? Really, that'd be like someone. This is how I feel about it. When you ask someone like me and I'll like you, right? To me, that'd be like if I walked up to someone and I said, "Wow, I love your dress. What do you think of my shirt? Isn't it fantastic? Isn't this the finest shirt you've ever seen? Isn't it beautiful?" I mean, give a compliment and then ask for one in return just seems a little needy. Right. So, but there are friendly ways of doing it. Now, if someone sends me a private message or sends me a Facebook message or a tweet, or I don't really tweet, but whatever those other things are, and they send me a message, people do Facebook me, then contact me on Messenger, and I don't mind that. I'll send them back a message. I had someone recently asking me how to make labels, actually. And that's why I put up this morning that how I make my labels video. Um, and it's not, I'm no professional at that. I just share what I know, and that's pretty much all I can do. Nicole's channel she's got the Sin City soaps, Sin City Soap and Candles. That's Nicole's channel. Hmm. Yeah, there's some fantastic channels. There really are. I love all soaping channels. There's some little tiny ones and there's some great big giant ones. And I like them all. I really do. Yeah, isn't it? There's so much fun watching a couple. I'm just a lonely little soul here, but I like watching them together. They're funny. And if you've seen, I don't know if you've seen the review of my soaps on their channel, but I'm telling you, I couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't talk. I was laughing so hard. This video. I can't tell you exactly what was said in the video. You have to just watch it. But Wayne made a comment about the exfoliating bar of soap that I sent, and I was rolling on the floor. And I think some other people were as well. But anyway, that being said, yeah, he's a hoot. but they're a fun couple, and there is one. They've got a couple videos. If you look through their channel, look if you go to the top of anyone's channel, and you'll see one of the tabs just says videos. And if you click the videos tab, you can see their videos by the date they were put up. If you scroll down through them, you'll see one of the videos with both of them sitting on their couch. Watch that one. It's a lot of fun because it's a real nice introduction to them as people. And it's a very real. And I like that when people can do that. And it's a hard thing for some of us to do. It's a really hard thing for me to do. Really hard thing for me to do. And I didn't think I could do it, but here we are. But with team, I actually have to get to work. I have some things I have to do, but I want to tell you how much I appreciate this. It really means a lot that you came, that you spent time having some coffee with me. Mine's got cold, by the way. But I want to thank you. This was a lot of fun, and let's do it again. And if you would, after this video is done, it'll be uploaded, I think. I did the last time. And if you would comment on that video with things you might want to see in the future, ideas you have, or questions you have, criticisms you have. Patrick, you're ugly. You have an ugly nose. You've got a funny finger. Whatever, I don't care. Leave a message. Okay. So have a great day, everyone. I'm about to end this now. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll talk again soon. Bye.